And as Lauren just reminded us, it's our last show together for a week. That
Let's make it great.
Didn't take long for you guys to disappear into the night.
Oh, be kind.
There they go. And Maddie B will be here with a rotating cast of friends.
But I get to hang out with Lauren. Where are you?
In Vegas.
I'll be right here. I don't leave here. I don't leave this spot.
Wow.
You guys get to travel all around, go to all the sexy destinations, World Series, All-Star games, Vegas award shows. I'll be here. I'll be in the Say Hey Cafe having a piece of pie and a coffee, just as per usual.
Okay.
And you know what? I'll be happy with it.
Yes. You're driving 15 minutes from home. There's something to be said about being able to be home.
Yeah.
Not being a long ways away.
True.
Seriously.
There's also something to be said about having a steak dinner in some fancy pants place in Vegas with all your work colleagues, Lauren.
Sorry about it.
That's what she's all about. Hey, this is cool. Check this out.
What we got?
A gift for you.
Oh.
Yesterday, there were a couple of Marines that came by the studio, again, because we're helping celebrate the United States Marine Corps birthday on Sunday. And Gunnery Sergeant Benjamin Schofstall, Gunnery Sergeant Desi Mendoza, brought this.
Wow.
To you. It's a baseball with the Marine Corps logo on it. And apparently,
looks like it's handmade.
Right. It is handmade. Handmade by a friend of one of the Marines who apparently does this. That's super cool, man.
That's pretty cool. And
leather, like hand-stitched.
Look at the emblem.
Handcraft. Yeah.
This is pretty cool. Turn it this way.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Sweet. So, thank you to Gunnery Sergeant Schofstall and Gunnery Sergeant Mendoza.
I should say thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate this. What an honor. It's really cool.
It's for you. And
thank you.
By the way, they're going to be on MLB Tonight this evening.
That's awesome.
Pretty sweet. All right, so while you were watching something else last night, there was some, I guess, some development, some movement in the Juan Soto free agency story, which we don't expect to have a conclusion anytime soon. But apparently the Mets plan on meeting with Juan Soto next week. Team hierarchy, the brass will be out there. I'm sure that these conversations all flow through Stevie Cohen because, you know, he's going to be doing the lifting here, of course. And so Juan Soto is going to tick off a meeting. And I know you were wondering when we discussed this morning if this is considered early in the process for Soto to be doing this.
Well, it's in the New York Post. It says, hey, look, power trip, going to fly west. That's news to me. I thought he was coming to New York. I thought Soto was going to be here.
They're going to him.
They're going out to Boris Corp in Newport.
Right. Okay. What do you think? What's your takeaway from this? Is it early? Do you think is it early for this meeting to happen or not?
I hope they're getting the message that they have to move it along. They're going to hold up all the sport. If I'm a player, all right, if Matt Vasgersian was a free agent here at MLB Network, I got to know what you're getting. If I'm the next guy up, right? Because I can't negotiate until I know what the ceiling is. Where are we at? What's the market? He's setting this year's market. Every year it changes. Just like the qualifying offers continue to rise, so do the salaries. Soto's setting the market. So I'm going to give you a blind resume. This is for you, Matt.
Okay.
All right, 2 players. All right.
Here we go.
This is this last season, 2024. On the left is one guy. On the right is the other. All right. Leave it alone. We'll go to the next one. We'll go to the
I know who that is. Can I guess?
Yeah.
It's Alonso on the left.
No. 44 is, can I guess?
Yes.
Santander.
Yes. All right. So we are, what, $500 million apart from these two guys?
I don't know if it's going to be that much, but I get what you're saying. I get what Santander is also a lot older, though.
He's 4 years older.
Significant.
Yes. So.
But he switch hits.
But if I'm him, I'm saying, okay, if the number's $600 million for Soto, sorry, guys, but I can't be 100. He's not $500 million better than me. And if you look at the years he's putting together, I'm just saying that's how the market is looked at. Let's look at 23 and 24 together.
All right, let me lock in on the financials.
He's hanging with the best in the business as a hitter, so to speak.
I like that you went back an additional year, too, because it still holds up.
And it holds up the year before that as well. So I'm just saying, as a baseball player, I'm sitting there going, okay, I get it. Shohei Ohtani, $700 million. He pitches and he hits. I'm not touching that. But I will argue that this guy's not $500 million better than me. That's what I'm saying. So my point back to your initial question is, I hope Soto moves the process because everybody's going to sit and wait and see where's the market at.
Well, and I get your point. It's really well taken, and I think, unfortunately, it is going to get held up.
Yeah, it is.
One of the other names in this arena, I guess, and I don't think Teoscar Hernandez's money is going to be commensurate to Soto's.
Hold on one second. I got a question for you before we move on to the next. So what is the conversation going to be? You're the Mets. You fly out to sit down with him. What's the conversation? You either going to make an offer or you're going to tell them how great New York is? What's
I don't
the
think they start to sell that way. I think this is a get-to-know each other conversation. It's going to be a casual lunch, get to know the player, get to know the heartbeat. Player has a chance to get to know the potential boss. I don't think there's going to be anything that leads to an offer here. This is purely a social call, my guess.
Makes sense. I want to know. I want to look at you across the way. If I'm Steve Cohen, I want to talk to you. I want to see what I'm going to invest in the next 14 years.
Right.
You know?
And you hope that the guy walks in and you connect and you make eye contact and firm handshake and you have meaningful conversation.
And sometimes it doesn't happen.
Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes one party or the other is drifting and checking his phone and walks in, smelling like he hasn't showered or whatever it might be that offends the other side. But I don't think that's the case here. Let's move on because Teoscar Hernandez is another name that's out there, and apparently there's a little bit of movement there as well with teams planning to meet with him. The Red Sox and Orioles have declared interest, and why wouldn't they? They're going to be in plenty of good company because he has a robust market ahead of him after a banner year helping lead the Dodgers to a World Series championship. So I think the Red Sox are a fascinating fit for him, ballpark-wise. I'm not sure I could say the same thing for Camden Yards because of what they did in left field. If they lose Santander, they're going to kick the tires on everybody out there that can hit a home run. Here are the numbers for Teoscar. He got out of Seattle and took off. Everything was better out of that ballpark in the Pacific Northwest. And I think the guy on the right, his 2024 numbers, more indicative of what he'll do in the future than what he did in the repressed offensive environment of T-Mobile. What do you think?
I agree with that.
All
I got one other thing I want to add to it. My only question mark. Was he a better product being in a better lineup?
Because of what was around him. Great question.
Are you going to do that in Boston? And in Baltimore, you'll have some people around you. But that ballpark does worry me, what they did in left field.
So I'm going to make a statement here because you think correctly that Juan Soto holds the key for all the player movement this offseason. I think the Red Sox are the most interesting team in terms of, from a team standpoint. They're the most fascinating watch. Are they going to behave like the big market team that they are for the first time in 4 or 5 years?
They have to.
They haven't for forever. And there are multiple needs there, man. They're about to lose one of their biggest offensive contributors. Mr. Canada is perhaps packed up and headed elsewhere. They have no pitching, bullpen's bad, starting rotation's banged up, yet they have some intriguing pieces. They've got one of the best managers in the sport. If they spend some money, they could be back again. And I think the Red Sox are fascinating.
Well, I think they've got to also look at there's only so many dollars to be spent in whatever market you are, whether it's L.A. or whether it's in New England. The Celtics are owning that town right now. The Patriots are down, and you got a chance to rise the tide again with Red Sox fans and grabbing that extra dollar.
Yeah.
And this is the time to make a run. And the other thing that's happening with the Red Sox, the rest of the league is running away from you if you don't step in. Because you're looking at Toronto's not going to stop. The Yankees are not going to stop. Baltimore has found their stride. You can get left in the dust real quick unless you really say, hey, it's time for us to get in this race.
We're going to dive in deeper on the Red Sox next week because there was some chatter out there that maybe Casas would be moved. I don't know that that's the case. Let's say good morning.
Teoscar Hernandez, that can't be all, JP. In terms of one-year off-season deals, he had to be near the top, yes?
Well, Lauren, I think that what Teoscar signed last year with the Dodgers was an excellent move by his agent and by Teoscar himself because it allowed him now to reestablish his market value coming off of a year in which maybe he didn't have the best production in Seattle. So then he's able to go out on the open market and become now the player who can sign at least a 3-year deal, maybe a 4-year deal in the range of 24, 25, maybe $26 million a season, because we saw with how he produced for the Dodgers and also how he handled himself in the clubhouse and on the field, what an essential member of the Dodgers he became. So certainly going back to LA is very much a possibility, but if he doesn't, those two teams I mentioned yesterday, the Red Sox and the Orioles, they need proven players who are legit right-handed power bats. Teoscar Hernandez is all of those things.
I loved the way Dave Roberts spoke about him, JP, a deep appreciation for his talent. Harold, I know you watch his show. He just did a split screen of Juan Soto and Anthony Santander. 44 home runs, made himself a whole lot of cash. Who's going to give it to him?
Well, Lauren, it's a great question.
General managers are traveling to Japan to watch him. When will he be posted? Is that coming? What's the timeline on this?
Still a lot of conversation right now, Lauren, between Sasaki's camp and the Chibalote Marines, his club in NPB. Kylie McDaniel of ESPN reported in recent days that he believes that Sasaki will be posted. But remember, the key element here is that because he's not yet old enough to be considered a foreign professional, his contract would be a minor league deal with an MLB team, likely in the range of $3 or $4 or $5 million. Not at all the mega dollar deal that we saw with Yamamoto a year ago. So that means that the share that would go back to the Marines is very, very small in relative terms.
So why would they do it if they don't have incentive?
Well, if they don't have financial incentive, Lauren, it would have much more to do with relationship, respect out of what Sasaki has achieved. And the final point I'll make on Sasaki is this. He is not a finished product in the way that Yamamoto was a year ago. There is still some growth to be had there. He's a little bit more of a prospect than he is an ace in full. Certainly the talent is undeniable, one of the best young pitchers in the world. But Lauren, I would describe Sasaki as a prospect who shows profound promise as opposed to someone who's ready to step in and win a Cy Young Award in year one as a major league.
Fascinating. Totally dependent on the team. JP Morosi, appreciate it. Happy Friday to you, Maddie.
Good stuff, guys. And JP knows that, you know, what's coming from Japan because he makes it a point to be really, gets his nose in it, if you will. You're familiar with him, too. What do you think Sasaki's future is going to be like?
I think he might be the best one coming over.
Wow.
I mean, we've seen Yu Darvish. We've watched Ohtani. Ohtani's doing both. Amazing, right? This guy obviously does not hit. And then Yamamoto. This guy's 6'4". You know, I mean, he's 23 years old. He throws 102 miles an hour. We watched him in the WBC.
Yeah,
I mean,
but again, I think we've set the standard so high for anybody coming over from Japan. If anybody is, like, short of Ohtani, then, you know, we're going to be like, you know, whatever. It's unfair.
I just remember seeing him in Miami, and I was like, who is this guy? I thought it was Ohtani, but obviously he wasn't as broad-shouldered, and I know Ohtani, but I'm like, who the heck is this guy? His stuff was electric, and he's only 23. He's going to grow and develop even more. I'm telling you right now, the ceiling is there, and you're looking at a guy who has not been injured.
Yeah.
He's injury-free.
Any hitter that comes over that isn't Ichiro, we're like, wah. Any pitcher that comes over that isn't Yamamoto, wah. So there's some pressure here, but it's an intriguing potential free agent story in our game. You talk about potential.
このシーズンが終わりに近づく中で、次のシーズンに向けた各チームの動きや選手たちの移籍について、ますます期待が高まっていますね。アトランタ・ブレーブスのロナルド・アクーニャ・ジュニアやスペンサー・ストラットンが開幕に間に合わないとのことで、シーズン序盤での戦力に不安が残りますが、ブレーブスのチーム全体の結束と、それを乗り越えるための努力にも注目が集まります。強豪としての意地を見せ、彼らが一丸となってスタートダッシュを決めることができるのか、ファンとしては目が離せませんね。一方で、ヤンキースが検討しているとされるピート・アロンソの獲得も非常に興味深いです。彼のパワフルな打撃は、ヤンキースの短いポーチにぴったりですし、 ホームラン量産が期待されます。また、アンソニー・リゾの成績が低下している中で、新たな血をつぎ込むことで、攻撃力がどのように変わるのかが楽しみです。ヤンキースがアロンソの加入でどれほどの変革を遂げるのか、新しい戦力がもたらす可能性に期待が高まります。また、フアン・ソトの動向は MLB ファンの誰もが注目する大きな話題です。メッツやヤンキースといった強豪チームが彼の獲得を目指している中、彼がどのチームと契約するのかはまだ分かりませんが、いずれの結果にしてもシーズンの展開に大きな影響を与えることは間違いありません。ソトはその打撃力でリーグの打撃指標を引き上げてきた選手であり、彼が新しい環境でどのような成績を残すのか、そしてチーム全体にどのような変化をもたらすのかが待ち遠しいですね。さらに、オスカー・ヘルナンデスも今、オフシーズンの移籍市場で注目されており、レッドソックスやオリオールズが彼に興味を示しています。特にレッドソックスの球場での彼のパフォーマンスには期待が高まります。彼の持ち味であるパワフルな打撃が新しい環境でどのように発揮されるかが気になるところです。オリオールズも彼のような選手が加わることで、若手選手とベテランが融合したバランスの良い打線が完成するかもしれませんね。クリーブランド・ガーディアンズでは、シェーン・ビーバーの復帰やスティーブン・クワンの成長が大きな話題となっています。ビーバーが順調に回復し、彼のエースとしての存在感が戻ってくることで、ガーディアンズの投手陣がどのように変わるのか注目されます。また、クワンが守備や攻撃でさらに力を発揮していくことにファンの期待が寄せられています。彼らの活躍がチーム全体の士気やファンの応援にどのようなポジティブな影響をもたらすのかも見逃せません。ボストンレッドソックスの今後も非常に注目すべきポイントです。ここ数年、大規模な投資や補強が不足していると言われるレッドソックスが、今オフシーズンで真剣な投資を行い、強豪チームとして再び復活を目指すのか、それとも慎重な姿勢を続けるのかが気になるところです。ファンの期待に応えるためには、彼らが積極的に市場に参入し、戦力を強化していく必要があります。このオフシーズン、彼らがどのような方向性を示すのか、ファンは大きな関心を持っています。そして、日本からの若手選手に対する期待も年々高まっています。特に佐々木朗まれの MLB 入りは、野球ファンにとっても非常に興味深い話題です。彼は若手ながらも圧倒的なスピードと実力を持っており、MLB での活躍が待ち望まれています。大谷翔平やダルビッシュ有といった先輩選手たちが築いてきた日本人選手の評価をさらに高める存在になれるかもしれません。彼が新たな舞台でどのようなパフォーマンスを見せるのか、MLB の新たなスターとなる日が楽しみです。このように、シーズン終了後のオフシーズンもファンにとって見逃せない展開が続いていますが、皆さんはどう思いますか？お気に入りの選手がどのチームでどんな活躍を見せてほしいと思いますか？また、各チームの戦力補強についての意見や期待もぜひコメント欄で教えてください。皆さんの意見を聞かせてもらえると嬉しいです。気に入っていただけたら、いいねとチャンネル登録もお忘れなく。私たちは皆さんに MLB の最新ニュースや見逃せないハイライトをお届けするので、どうぞ引き続きお楽しみに。MLB の世界を共に盛り上げ、さらなる興奮を体験していきましょう。